This is the typical American pound cake. It's delicious, fine textured, moist, really good pound cake. I love it. This is a traditional bakery pound cake pan. And I have a dish of softened butter and a soft bristle brush. And I find that this really works very effectively to get into the corners and the cracks of any cake pan. Okay, that one's done. Preheat your oven, by the way, to 325. When you start mixing up the cake, you want that oven very well heated. Now, flour. A tablespoon or so in the pan. This is just all-purpose flour. And shake it all over the whole pan. Now, to get out the excess, you don't want to leave any big puddles of flour in there, so shake it out like that. And that is what the pan should look like. Now, we're using cake flour for this cake. I prefer to find the cake flour that does not have any leavening in it. I want to measure sifted cake flour. So I'm sifting 4 cups. That's why you sift. Look at all those lumps. You don't want those in your cake. And now, put that in another bowl. Now we're going to measure the flour. So you just dip in, use the back of a knife, and cut. That's 1 cup of cake flour sifted. There's just no shortcuts. I mean, you cannot not sift. 4. Now we're going to add our baking powder. Again, fresh baking powder, and you can use a knife to measure, and this we're going to have 4 teaspoons. So it's 4 and 4 so far. 2, 3, 4. And 1 teaspoon of salt. Oops, we have it right here. And I use coarse salt. You can use fine salt, but I find the kosher salt works really well. Okay, so now sift this. So that's 1, and then we're going to sift again. And now the next step is creaming the butter. And we have in this recipe 3 sticks of butter that are at room temperature. And we have to add 2 3/4 cups of sugar. And your vanilla, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I can add that right now to the butter and sugar. So the butter and sugar have become smoother, softer. The sugar granules have started to get soft, not so crunchy. What you are now, turn it on 1 and start adding your eggs 1 at a time. We want 8 eggs, 8 good eggs. And now we're going to add the flour slowly with the cup of milk. And we don't want to overbeat. So we're going to do this rather quickly. And these powerful mixers enable you to do this kind of mixing very quickly. At one point, my daughter and I, we were baking a lot together. We decided we would use no machines. I get kind of tired mixing this by hand, but our grandmas didn't have machines. There, done. Okay, so now release your bowl and proceed with the filling of the cake pans. This cake actually does crack down the center, which looks pretty. And we don't mind the crack in a pound cake as we mind the crack in a cheesecake. So just gently spread the batter so that it gets down into the corners. Looks good. So that'll be ready. And now this one is going to get the zest. So these are Meyer lemons. Very fragrant. And if you have a grate grater like this, it simplifies the whole process so well. You just move the grater like this, and I'll do it right over the bowl, taking just the yellow rind off the lemon. Don't go down and take too much of that white pith. That's not what really has all the flavor. Now see that? See how beautiful and yellow it is? It goes nicely with the batter. And again, stir that in and pour this into your pan. And this, with the lemon inside, can also be glazed with a simple confectioner sugar and lemon juice glaze. That'd be pretty. There. Okay. And now these go right into the oven at 325, approximately 1.5 hours. And I am going to set my timer and check. Now here are 2 of the pound cakes. This one has the Meyer lemon in it, and this is the plain one. This has been out of the oven for 10 minutes. Just go around the entire cake with an offset spatula like this. And we can now turn this over. So I'm going to slide this right onto a rack. And I'll show you how easily it comes out. Look how beautiful that is. You can gently turn it over. And the beauty of a well-made pound cake, it doesn't fall apart. It is very, very nicely shaped. Now the glaze is made out of lemon rind. This is a Meyer lemon. And again, we want the zest from 1 lemon, 2 3/4 cups of confectioner sugar, and 1/4 cup of Meyer lemon juice. So here's your zest, and just cut that lemon in half and squeeze it. Oh, the fragrance is amazing. Meyer lemons tend to have a lot of seeds, so they're not a great candidate for candying the lemon slices. Okay, so that goes into our bowl. And 2, almost 3 cups of confectioner sugar. Use a whisk. Now this is looking almost thick enough, so I'm going to add maybe 1/2 cup more. Looks very good. And now you can just pour a little bit of this onto the top of your cake while it's still warm. And it will gently drip down the sides. And then every bite you have of the cake will have a little bit of that sour lemon taste. Very good.